Okay, do Amish, do they mostly water bath or pressure can?
Water bath. I don't know anybody who pressure cans.
Do you water bath meat?
Oh, yeah.
How long do you water bath your meat?
I've been told 3 hours. That's what I've done.
What is your favorite food?
Ice cream.
It is. It's ice cream.
I love strombolis.
Oh, yeah, he loves strombolis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's vegetables that I really like too, but if they're prepared right.
Tomatoes in the stromboli.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Tomato sauce.
What is your evening source of downtime? Like, what do you like to do at the end of the day when you're done with your work? What is your source of downtime? Because for everybody else, it's mostly gaming on iPhones or something like that. Not that that's wrong, but
It's this.
Aww.
Him reading, I'm reading. We're usually reading.
Okay.
You know, if we have downtime after getting Joel into bed, because we go to bed only an hour after he does. But yeah, we're usually sitting right over there reading. Yeah, that's pretty much it every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or, you know.
Sometimes we don't even get to that.
Because Joel.
If we do the dishes and then.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about the Amish, or just something that you would love for the general public? If you had something to say, what would it be? Either about the community, Amish, or if you could just, anything that you'd like to put out there.
There's, I don't know. There's some things, some things that I think is a misconception. We do have, I like the Amish lifestyle. I like the community. I love that some of us can work at home. I love the gardening part of it. Some people think it looks like a very relaxing lifestyle and very, slow pace or whatever. We have to work for that too, the same as everybody else. So it's we do have a lot of opportunities, but we still have to work for it. And I think it's good if the children can. I think it's good if we take the time to teach our children to enjoy nature, to enjoy working with plants and gardening and being outside. I think that's good. And be creative.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, if you grow up in a community like this, there's a lot that is just handed to you because this is how everyone, almost everyone, a majority of people do life together. So there is that's a huge privilege. And we live out here where, if you took someone who grew up in and around Philadelphia their whole life and they came out here, they would hardly even know what to do with themselves because it's just
so true.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So we want to remember that if anybody really who lives in the country, you can get fresh food. And so to realize the privilege that it is to be a part of this community. And I think if there was anything I wanted people to remember is that this life is temporary. All of these things, we can say, oh, we don't have this or we don't have that. So, our life is harder, or it's better, depending on who you're talking to, they're going to say one or the other. But choosing to live a certain way, it ought to be, for it to be done right, for the community to grow in a healthy way, it needs to be for God. It can't just be for the sake of tradition. It can't just be to preserve. Yeah, that would be the same thing. To preserve what we have, or because, well, you don't know anything else, so you just do this and you don't even know why. Your choices should be, I truly believe that this is a God-honoring way to live my life. It's good for me. It's good for my family. It's good for my church. And then anything that you give up is not really, I guess you could use the word a sacrifice, but it really isn't, because there's a blessing that comes from being obedient to God, you know, and drawing closer to him. And yeah, I would definitely not want to walk away without telling people that if you're not satisfied with your life, if you are sad, if you are feeling guilty or lonely, or if there's any issues, you can bring all of that before God and lay it at his feet and ask for Jesus to come and heal you in every way, whether it's spiritual healing, emotional healing, mental healing, physical healing. That is what he's about. He wants you to come to him and just lay everything out, and he will build you back up better than you can ever imagine. So that's what I want people to know.
Something that I would like to add here with living in a community like this, and I was just thinking about this, is we have neighbors here. When we step outside the door, they can probably see us, and that can be scary or
A lack of privacy.
yeah, lack of privacy. But it has happened that we went away for a day or 2 days, and sometime later we talked with one of the neighbors, and he said, "Yeah, I didn't think it looked like anybody's around there." That's great, because if we're not at home and somebody comes in here, one of the neighbors is going to see it, and if they're probably somebody in the neighborhood knows we're not here.
How old do you have to be when you join the Amish?
Like for just anybody.
Yeah.
16.
Yeah, pretty much 16.
And they wouldn't really encourage you, because 16 is when you are technically like considered an adult in a way, or like a growing adult. That's when you start going to youth group. You're not at home every night anymore. You might be staying, your friend has church tomorrow at their house, so you stayed over Saturday night and you went with your buddies to church there. Like it's kind of interesting because our neighbors, their daughter just turned 16, like in December. So, I mean, she was always at home or, you know, at her job, but then she was always at home. Well, now, like, we'll see them go to church and it's just the one boy because all their other kids, like, they're older, so they'll take themselves. But, like, now he's the only one that goes with them because she's often going to church at a friend's house, or, you know, we'll see her waiting for her driver to come pick her up at the end of the driveway. And it's just different. Like, this is now she's like allowed to go do those things. And, you know, she's not doing anything crazy, but she would just be out and about more. And then from talking to people, no one's going to say you're not allowed to get baptized, because you would get baptized and also become a member. At 16, no one would say like, no, you can't. You go through the classes, and if your church feels you're ready, you know, they all, you know, no one would object to it. But I think in general, they would recommend like take a couple years, and, you know, a year or so, and just really make sure that you're ready. Like, this is really your commitment to be baptized.
Sometimes the girls would at 15. If
they're going to turn 16,
if they're like almost 16, and they might join at 15, but a lot of times they advise the boys to wait till they're 18. And I know of one boy, Brownie's Stephen. He was 16, and he said he wants to join the church, and they advised him to wait. And he was 16, and they advised him to wait, and he said, well, what if I wouldn't live that long? And he died that summer. He didn't make it through the summer. He drowned.
Wow.
So that's kind of, you know.
Which obviously, you know, you can kind of hear that his heart was in the right place. So the fact that he didn't make it to get baptized is neither here nor there.
Right. But that was a good.
I mean, I can't even imagine asking that question. Like, my mind was just not at all in that vein at 16, I don't think. And I got baptized when I was 11. So.
I have some more questions. Sorry. Do you ever feel tempted to be English?
Tempted? Is it tempted? Is that
I guess in living in the world. saying?
You don't live in the world in that
I
sense.
know, but I'm just saying.
But
this
I
is-
know
like,
what you
they
mean.
think
You know
of
what
it
I
as
mean?
like separate, but they are thinking of it as separate.
Yes,
they are
they
looking
are.
at you guys as an excluded community.
Oh, you
They
mean the
are.
viewers?
Yes.
Okay,
And
Yes.
I get that.
but they
I
don't need
understand
to.
that.
Question too.
I understand that. And I wouldn't say I get tempted to like to say, oh, I'm gonna now, start driving a truck. That doesn't mean I don't think about it. Sometimes when I think, well, that would really be convenient. But then it's like, you know what, this is where I think God put us. Then I don't really see a reason, to entertain those thoughts. And I do believe we need to take our thoughts captive. So that's what I feel is important, that I need to, we get those thoughts.
Amen.
But I don't consider it a temptation. A temptation is something that is sin, I mean, temptation's not a sin, but whatever that is, it's a draw to sin. And I wouldn't consider, if both of us felt like, all right, God, God no longer wants us to be Amish, I wouldn't feel like we were being tempted. It's more just like, do you ever have a desire for a different life?
But I would feel like it is a temptation sometimes. For at this point, it could be a temptation for me, because I could be like, you know what, that would be nice if I could just drive a truck instead of driving this horse. That I feel like for me sometimes is a temptation.
Okay, I'll
to
I'll
not
let you.
stay where I feel
to be
like
drawn
God
to
wants.
something
Yeah.
else other than
Yeah,
what you
That's
to
have.
do
just
something you believe
simpler,
God doesn't want you to do.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are there still traditional barn raisings?
We had one in our church last year.
No. They're
Kind of.
well, yeah, kind of, but in the same time, when I was a little bit younger, like 5 years ago, I went to a barn raising, and so now
5 years ago.
well, I'm going back 20 years,
Okay.
but then it was an old dairy barn, a 2-story, and upstairs in the dairy barn it was room for hay, a lot of hay storage. I didn't see a pettibone there that day. There was no crane there. There was a bunch of people, and that's how we set those bad boys up. So we put the walls together on the ground. We tied a rope to it,
And you pulled it
and
up.
some people. Well, then we had a rope out this way, and some people. There was a bunch of men here, and they said, "All right, pick it up." So they pick it up a little bit, and then the people with the ropes, they start pulling. And then on the other side, the people, once it gets set up, now you have somebody on the other side with a rope pulling so it doesn't go too far. That's a barn raising.
Okay.
Now the one that Jerusha's talking about in our church, that was also a barn raising where a lot of people showed up, but they had pettibones, they had lifts, they had skid loaders. 20 years ago, we didn't have that. The people showed up, and
But did anybody have that 20 years ago?
Well, no, but so I'm saying that the barn raisings look different today than they did then, because then people came together and built the barn. Now we're getting some equipment in to help us make it easier. Which
so the idea of like literally the night their barn burned down in the night, middle of the night. So the fire company's there, but like that next day, there was people there clearing everything away, all the wreckage, and every day, because it was a Sunday.
It was Saturday night.
Saturday night. Okay, so Sunday, obviously, no one started working on it, but then Monday they did, and every day until it was finished.
Yeah.
Give or take.
So it's
towards the end. There probably wasn't someone every day.
So it is some of the same ideas where people just drop their work and go help. But it is it's just different how it gets done.
It's not like maybe what people are imagining, like a barn raising, pulling the 4 walls up like you described.
Okay, and I do believe that this is the last question. I'm sorry, but thank you. Are the Amish allowed to pursue college? It's just one of the questions.
When you say the Amish,
they're thinking of you guys as a whole.
That's
So
fine.
regardless of-
That is fine.
Different world, different
Yeah.
community, segregated from the rest of us looking in.
Yeah.
That's how they look at it.
That's fine. I would say if somebody wants to pursue college, he's probably not going to stay with the Amish. Within the Amish community, there are people that are kind of doctors. They do some sort of, I don't know what you would call it, like natural,
Homeopathic.
yeah, maybe they would
Well,
get educated.
think
on
about it
that.
like this. There's Amish who run with the ambulance. So there's EMTs, that are Amish. So they've gone to, it's much more common for people to do some kind of trade training or like technical training than to say, I'm going to go be a such and such major and go for 4 years and then, just like everybody else, graduate and do what? Work a job that you didn't go to college for and pay off your college debt. But I know there's several people that are EMTs. There's people who are certified midwives. There's people who are herbalists, like master herbalists, naturopaths, like stuff that is you developed a passion for a specific field that doesn't require 4 years of college. There's people who have Christian counseling degrees, not a master's degree in counseling, but like they went to a 1 year or 2 year program where they did that. There are, I'm trying to think some other fields. It's mostly health or counseling related that I would know people who've actually gone for like specified training.
Then in the men side of it, it's a lot of construction,
Right.
whatever that looks like, welding,
I think some people go to like learn how to do architectural drawings to get trained, but it's more of a training than
some would do
college.
Yeah.
It's a lot more hands-on. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any. Oh, like massage. That would be like massage therapists. I don't know of anybody that's technically a chiropractor.
I don't either.
But there's a guy that will pull your teeth for like $25 a tooth. But
So why no cars?
same answer to like all those types of questions. If you have a car, first off, nobody had cars at a certain point. Then cars were invented. So again, everybody else changed and the Amish just decided to stay the same. That's pretty much the answer for all of these questions. Why no cars? Why no? Well, TV, that's slightly different. But like a car, if everybody has a car, then nobody's at home anymore. So if you don't have a car, but you can get a ride to go somewhere if you need to, you have a horse, so you can go to the local places, get your local stuff done that you need to. But if you don't have a car, you're not just going to get up and go at the drop of a hat for any odd reason. So you're at home, you're with your family, you can get to all of the local things, whether it's church or school or a family gathering with your horse. It may take you half an hour longer or an hour longer. But it's that idea of just like keeping the community together, keeping families together. You don't need to have soccer and play practice and dance and ballet. You don't need to go to a million different things. Just, be at home and stay together.
And another reason I believe is it's a good time. It's a good family time. If we were to drive down to my parents 7.5 miles from here, that takes 15 minutes with a car. It takes us 45 minutes with a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's time that you're not doing anything else. You're just plopping down the road with your horse. And at 10 miles an hour, you might see that the trees are starting to get their leaves or the flowers are blooming or there's just so many things that you can
You can
notice.
actually see the people that you're going by. You can wave at them and say hi.
I
Those
say,
are-
I wave hi more now to the Amish more than ever.
I think,
'Cause they
and
wave back.
I don't,
Yeah, I know.
I don't think I don't know, because I don't know how much foresight you can have when a new technology comes in that you have no idea how it will impact. So I don't know how much foresight they had, but like those little things that we now notice because we're living that way, I don't know that they could foresee that. So there's a lot of this stuff that there was a good enough reason to say we don't want to do that. But now there's like all these other little added benefits that we just kind of add on. I don't know that people were thinking like, well, because way back when people had cars, they didn't go that fast. And the Amish did have cars when they first came out, the old cars that, we don't even think about anymore. But then after a while, they were like, okay, let's decide, like, do we want these or don't we? And they decided they don't want them.
Mm-hmm. And there's also some things that go into that, because I do believe some of these decisions, it's made by bishops, and the bishops are God ordained. And I feel like there's a lot of prayer, and I think some time goes into it, some thought and some time and discussion, and I hope that's how they made their judgment back then. But as Jerusha said, some of these, the Amish are conservative. Conservative means slow to change. Orthodox means no change. We do realize we do need to make some changes at times.